What was your first impulse to channel? Okay, you are 18 years old, just a kid, and suddenly you have this urge to be a channeler. How that comes to your mind? Did you have that kind of revelation coming to you, or is it the burning bush like Moses? What happened?
Well, perhaps a little bit like the burning bush. It wasn't something I consciously chose. And actually, I don't think my brain or my mind had much to do with it at all. I had to really get my mind and brain out of the way. So the channeling started spontaneously one day. And it was a very powerful event. It lasted for about an hour. I wasn't expecting it. And I didn't really know what to do with it afterwards. So it certainly wasn't a conscious choice. It was something I really had to come to terms with, and in many ways bring my ideas and beliefs about life and my personality and where I thought my life was going and bring that over to channeling. So it was really giving up, I think, what I thought I came to this world to do. And starting to relax more into that and be guided by that. So it has taken some time. It wasn't really until I was in my mid-30s that I started to really come into a more confident state in myself that yes, this is what I can be doing. Because until then, it was always being pushed to the side because I didn't think that I could legitimately make a living doing this, or it wasn't enough to do this in the world. I needed to contribute to society in another way. And also that it wasn't practical, especially because I was living in a very, quite a small city in Australia too. And then, of course, channeling wasn't as widely known or accepted as it is today. Thank goodness it's more embraced these days.
It is, yeah. It's much open right now. People talk about near-death experiences and about
Right.
channeling, mediumship, and do you consider this occupation or this work hard, or is it enjoyable, enlightening? How do you feel doing this?
That's such a wonderful question because I certainly in the beginning wrestled with it because it did feel like work. So I was bringing my work attitudes to it, and I tried to be very structured and have a focus on output. And is this having a great impact? And how do I know? And are the numbers of people that are being impacted telling me that I'm doing a good job? Or am I making enough money to pay for food? And these kinds of questions. And after some time, I realized that this is living, this is actually life expressing, and it has nothing to do with doing something that isn't life affirming to support my life. So I really went through a shift in my view of life itself. And now I don't see that this is work in any way. It is me continuing to live. And so it's my life expressing itself. So I'm not applying myself to life, if that makes sense. I'm just expressing more. And in this way, it's not the work that I do, it's the life that I'm living. I don't separate work and life anymore.
I've been looking at your website and it says the planet and its population are undergoing the greatest transition since its creation. If you can give your input about this shift in consciousness right now, what is happening?
Yes, well, this is principally what we do as we express with our messages and in the channeling that I do. We've been speaking about this since the early 2000s, this shifting consciousness that's happening for the planet. So we're moving out of cycles of experience, which is what many humans call third dimensional, fourth dimensional reality, where we experience things in a time loop. So we have the same types of traumas, the same types of life experiences over and over again. And this happens collectively and it also happens individually in terms of what we call the karmic cycle. So because of that, it's quite difficult for the collective human consciousness to evolve as much as it can or as quickly as it can if we want to use linear time as a reference. And so we're moving to an experience now where we are expanding so much in our consciousness, collectively and individually. You can't really separate the two, where we're now moving beyond a particular narrow bandwidth of experience that's available to us. So a lot of people speak about moving from an old earth to a new earth, and then we're going to move out of one reality and into another. But how we like to describe it is that we're not really leaving anything behind in order to evolve. If you can imagine that we have been existing within a particular window of reality, and there's a vibrational spectrum in there. As we expand our consciousness, our spectrum of vibration increases this way. So now we can begin to experience and view things we couldn't see before, but we're not abandoning third dimensional reality. We're now embracing it from a greater perspective or a greater view. So this isn't about getting rid of things, it's about expanding beyond them. And in this way, we are less dualistic. This is bad, this is good. We now have a wider lens to view, and we become more evolved because we can see more and sense more. We have a view of the bigger picture, which is why, of course, people are so interested in things like near-death experiences, channelers. What is the mechanics of reality? Is this all a simulation? Because we're widening our perception. Now we can begin to see clearly, and we can see things in a far more elevated way. This, in my view, and in our view, the masters that channel through me, this is how we see the shift is happening.
So, Rebecca, what is New Earth?
What a great question. So New Earth is a new experience of our Earth reality based upon an increased vibrational frequency that we begin to embody that enables us to experience new blueprints of possibility, new themes, and new landscapes of reality within the Earth experience. It's actually very simple. It's very simple. I mean, people say, well, there's one Earth here and we're moving to a different Earth and it's a different timeline. Even in that expanded state and that new version of reality, because of our expanded vibrational state, there will still be multiple timelines and versions of the Earth that exist within that. So we're not moving from one specific Earth reality to another specific Earth reality. I'll explain it like this. As many physicists are beginning to discuss, and a lot of people are discussing, there is a possibility, perhaps a probability, that we exist within a simulated reality. So let's imagine for a moment that every human individual is in a simulation. Let's say like an airplane simulation when you learn to fly a plane. So you're all in a simulation and we're all sitting in the same room and we're all learning how to drive this reality. So there is a software of maps and possibilities and experiences of this game of Earth reality that we're all playing. We're all plugged into the same collective software. We call that the collective experience for humanity. And what happens is that as, say, a few individuals in that room, a proportion of humanity suddenly begins to increase their vibration, they begin to evolve beyond what is possible within that simulation, they start to come to the edge of the map. And so within their experience, they're flying and they've covered all the different maps and they've seen everything and they've experienced everything in there. And now they come to the edge and there's nothing there they can't see, but they know there must be something beyond there because they've hit the edge of the map. So having the courage and the ability in the expanded state to say, well, I don't know where this is going and I don't know what my life will be and I don't know what humanity will be, but I'm going to fly out here now to discover. The moment that that happens, you cross that threshold, and what you choose to do and how you choose to live creates new blueprints, and new blueprints and areas of the earth experience begin to open up. And when you do, it doesn't just open it up for you in your individual experience of life, in your simulation. It opens it up for everybody, because now that is a new part of the map that's added to the overall collective experience. It now becomes available to everybody. So this is how we would describe what's happening in the New Earth reality. There is a proportion of awakening humans who are at the stage in their experience where they're looking for something else. What else is there? This can't be all that there is. And in their boldness and ability to explore the unknown and to say, well, I don't know where my life is going. I don't feel like I have any direction. I don't want anything that's on offer, and I don't want to bring my energy or attention to any of these things. It's that moment that you trust and say, well, I'm just going to see what else is possible, that everything begins to open up. And I'm sure there's many people that you've interviewed, and even in your own experience, Sergey, when you step into the unknown, suddenly life begins to unfold in a new way. So being part of this New Earth reality and crossing that threshold, you're in essence becoming a pioneer. And pioneers and explorers, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But it's our ability to step into the unknown that opens the doorway for humanity to follow. And that's where we are. So we're not in a game of, I need to accumulate as much knowledge as I possibly can so that I can move into another reality. It's saying, well, I'm comfortable with not knowing, and that's what moves you into the next reality.
Yeah, it's not the accumulation of knowledge, it's the change of vibration.
Right.
Now, you mentioned an awakened human. How would you describe an awakened human?
Well, we would describe an awakened human as one who has an intense curiosity, that doesn't believe that they truly know very much at all, and one that is absolutely fascinated with experiencing as much as they possibly can. Because the nature of consciousness itself, of source consciousness or cosmic consciousness, is to experience as much as it possibly can. And it does that by fractalizing itself into infinite numbers of forms, including billions of humans, to experience as much as it possibly can. So an awakened human, and the hallmark of an awakened human, is one who is totally fascinated with everything that is unfolding in every moment. And that could be something as simple as washing the dishes or being in your garden. You're so fascinated by what's happening in that moment, and you're really experiencing it as much as you can.
Yeah, because he's just being in the moment, that's all, just being in the present. So that's called the awakening, when you are in the present.
Yes, and it's also called living and being alive, because you can only truly live in the present moment. The rest of it is fantasy.
Right now, you are channeling, or you're just talking from yourself?
Well, it's difficult to separate the two these days. So I always have my masters with me, and we're so entwined now that when I often start speaking and I start saying we, because I feel as if there's more of us. It's different from going deeper into the channeling state, because my voice and movements change a little bit and it's much more direct. But I still feel it, and I always feel it as a vibration and an energy.
Is it a pleasant vibration? How do you describe this vibration when you feel the channeling, when you feel the masters talking through you?
It feels very fortifying. I feel more embodied. It's interesting because when I first started channeling, when I was very young, I felt as if an energy came in and my personality went to one side. And now I feel like I just become very fortified, very embodied, like more of my consciousness is here as more of their consciousness comes through as well. So it's a very supportive, and it feels a lot more solid than it used to.
For example, a writer is writing a book, and if you're thinking about what you're writing, then it doesn't flow that well. But if you just turn off your mind and let it flow, it's the same channeling.
I would agree.
Yeah, same thing with the music. Good music, you just
Yes. You can't think these things. I can't think the messages that we express, and I can't think these conversations. I can only feel and express. And it's very different because in that way it's coming more from the cosmic or source consciousness rather than from the mind awareness, because the mind has no idea what's going on in the present moment. It can only engage with the past or the future. Those magic moments of oneness and illumination is when the mind actually does come into the present, but it's very rare.
you can call and channel any master, or there is a specific group that is channeling through you.
I do have a specific group that come through. In the beginning, it was just Master Serapis Bey, who's also been known as Thoth, and a few other a few other beings over time. And he's been with me right from the very first time that I channeled. That was that energy that came through. And then some years later, Germain came in, who is also known as Saint Ascended Master Saint Germain. He doesn't like that phrase. And Kuthumi. But they tend to come together now as a we, almost like a braiding of energies that come through like a group. Sometimes, occasionally, they'll come through individually, and you can tell the difference because the personality is very strong and the mannerisms are very strong. But generally, they come through as a we. Yeah, and it's so it has generally been the same group. Yes, other streams of consciousness do come through from time to time. I often will have streams coming from other dimensions or galactic experiences, particularly when we're teaching seminars about the nature of reality. Sometimes those streams of wisdom will come through from other perspectives to help us have another perspective of the earth reality. But principally, I work with the masters because they're all very, very experienced in the human embodiment and the human experience, and it's their desire to assist humanity to be human and be very conscious.
Now, I don't know, this might be a stupid question, but let me ask you this. Can you channel Paramahansa Yogananda?
I don't know. I've never tried.
I would
I've
like
never
to.
consciously tried. I've never consciously tried to channel anyone. I
Yeah.
mean, when I was much younger, I used to help people who had loved ones who had passed away, and I could bring through information. And I didn't really enjoy that because I found the energy was quite dense. It's not for me. Some people are wonderful at mediumship with that kind of thing. It doesn't suit my body and my vibration. So I don't know the answer to that. I have never tried, and nobody has ever asked me. Because nothing is really, I desire to bring this forth. It's, I'm available, what is to be expressed.
All right, then, would you be comfortable to do a little, like a short session of channeling right now?
Of course. Yes.
So I have to prepare a question, or are you just going to listen to your group and just
Well,
see what they want to
if
say?
you if there is a question that is naturally arising for you in this moment, then please express it. If not, then we will bring something.
Yeah,
And then you will have
let's
a question.
okay. That's good. Yeah, let's listen to the masters here because my questions
Do it
might
that
be.
way.
Yeah, let's do that because I'm ashamed to ask anything. I'm I don't know what my question is gonna sound like. Your
I think your
masters.
questions will be perfect.
Okay.
Perfect for the audience that's listening.
Okay, then let me ask this. Why is there is so much emphasis right now on this year 2024? There is so much awakening happening. If you can ask them this question, what is going on right now in 2024? So much significant. We talk about this a little bit, but if you can ask the masters too.
Of course. Greetings to you, we are with you. And of course, there is always a focus with humans on time. And why is it this time? And why is it this year? But let us reframe your question and let us say, what is the collective temperature for humanity? Because this is a time where humanity is becoming very aware. And therefore, when humanity becomes aware, they become more focused on what is happening in this moment. It's interesting because you will notice even with what you are interested in engaging with in media and information sources, in the past, you were more focused on what is going to happen in the future. And now humanity is becoming more focused on what is happening now. So in our view, it's not that 2024 is any more significant than any other year. It's that the expansion of consciousness means that humanity is more interested in what is happening this year. Isn't that fascinating? And so what we would say is that humans are beginning to notice the changes happening within themselves. And because they are noticing the changes happening within themselves, they're also noticing the changes happening within the collective field. Now, in general, we would say that what humanity will be noticing more in 2024 is endings and beginnings. Because you'll begin to notice it in your personal experience, in your community experience, and also in a more global experience. Things are coming to an end and things are also beginning. And so for humans, normally if things come to an end, there is always a search with the mind. Why did it come to an end? It came to an end because it's broken. It came to an end because it's no longer important. It came to an end because it's not appropriate. And in that, the mind can often come in and judge and say, well, this has ended because it was bad. Or this has ended because it was not good enough. And we are speaking not only about what's happening in personal relationships for many humans, and working arrangements for many humans, but also structurally for the planet, because there are many systems and structures in 2024 that are beginning to come to an end. And it will become visible that they are ending. Many humans have been sensing that things are ending, but haven't actually seen it yet. So 2024 is when what you sense to be true, you begin to see manifest in reality. So when there are endings, it's very easy for a human to say, this is terrible that this has ended, or this is good that this has ended. We must discover why, so it never happens again. And you see this in 2024 with the social focus. The social focus is, why did this happen and how do we stop it from happening again? But if you are aware that humanity is coming to the end of cycles and into a completely new map of possibility, there is indeed no danger of that which is ending happening again. And we express this in this way so that humanity, in its expanded state, can begin to focus upon the beginnings instead of focusing on examining the endings. And this is a leap in consciousness itself. Because if you continue to focus on the endings, why did things fall apart? Why did these structures and systems collapse? You're keeping your attention in that old cycle instead of bringing it to the new shoots and the new life that's beginning to emerge. And that's beginning to emerge for many humans in 2024, particularly after May, June, July 2024. New relationships, new work opportunities, new systems are beginning to arrive within your human realm. And so the importance of our message is to encourage humanity to shift their focus to what's new rather than to focus on what's old. And of course, when there are new things arising, there's always so much suspicion with humans, agree? Because humanity has been conditioned to be suspicious of the new, to be afraid of the new. And so naturally, when new systems arise, humans become very suspicious and afraid. But we encourage you to bring your expanded consciousness to them in a way of curiosity. I wonder what this will be. I wonder what its possibility is. Because in this environment of vibration in 2024, nothing is set. And this is important, because what it means is if there are new things arriving, if you're bringing very conscious human attention to it and a very expanded vibration to it, you can shape it to become a tool for the continued evolution of human consciousness. You can shape it if you bring your curiosity to it. This is the era now where you are not subject to the system. You now shape the system with your presence, your awareness, and your willingness to play with it. Because humanities have learned what it is to be a slave to systems, now you begin to play with them.
So how can we shape, as humans, as an individual person, how can we shape the system?
Well, you shape it with your awareness and your presence. And indeed, even your scientists are beginning to realize and encompass the possibility that where there is human attention and focus, creation happens. Can creation even occur within your reality without your attention and focus there? We would say it does not. The difference is when you bring your attention and focus to something with memory, you're very likely to shape it in a similar way to how you have already understood reality to be. And that's when you get the repetition of experience. So if you come to something new with a memory and fear, last time something like this happened, or when I did something like this before, or when humanity did this before, this was the outcome. If you bring that belief with your attention, that is how you will shape it in your individual experience. And if enough humans do that, it becomes the collective experience. Now, if you come to something new with pure curiosity and pure joy for the newness itself, you begin to learn that there is an innate intelligence within you that now is interested in engaging and playing and shaping this, which means you do not bring preconceived beliefs or ideas about what could happen or what has happened. You're actually in the moment with it, and you're asking the question, what is this? What is possible here? And in that way, you completely potentialize your experience with whatever it is that is new. And it's likely to give you the most expanded, highest vibration version of that experience, because that's the vibration you're meeting it with. It will respond to how you greet it.
And now, one more question. What are the new principles and practices of manifestation in 5D and beyond?
Well, it's not so different to what we have just described, because humans have approached creation not as creation. Humans have approached creation as management. And management is when something is predicted, you move through a process to allow it to happen. And then once it's happened, you manage it to keep it there or keep it alive. And so humans don't really create in third, fourth dimensional reality, in our view. They repeat and manage. They replicate. So when you move into a new version of reality, fifth dimensional frequency and beyond, this is now being a tool for creation. So you allow consciousness, your consciousness, the great consciousness within, to shape reality through you, which means that you come to it open-minded, open-hearted. I wonder what this can be. I wonder what it will be. And it's allowing of creation to unfold in a completely new way. Curiosity is key. Curiosity is the vibration and the energy that ignites new. And so without curiosity and without that willingness to say, I wonder what this can be. I wonder what this will do. You're very likely to have a repeat experience of things that have already been created before. So your ability to be present and your ability to greet your reality with a curiosity and wonder is the single most important aspect to creation. The second most important aspect to creation is spontaneous choice. Because if you are choosing in that moment spontaneously, I'm now going to do this, I'm now going to look at this, I'm now going to move in this direction, that is also igniting new creation. Because creation only happens in the present moment. It does not exist in the past or the future. And in this way, you cannot even plan to create or strategize to create. That is a game of the mind. So spontaneous action, spontaneous choice, and curiosity together enable creation to continually occur within your human experience. And it can be something so simple. It could be something as simple as, instead of picking up this drink in my right hand, I'm spontaneously going to pick it up in my left. And as soon as you do that, you have completely changed your sense of reality. You have just shifted into something new. You have just opened up more pathways of possibility than were there before. You just unlocked a whole new set of potentials that weren't there a moment ago when you unconsciously kept picking up your drink in the same hand. As you say, it's being present because creation happens in the present moment.
Right. Now, how people can contact their spiritual guides?
Well, you are that, and you are part of the one. And if you wish to contact or feel or sense the other aspects of source consciousness, your brothers and sisters, the other manifestations of life, the most important thing is to realize that it all happens through your physical manifestation, because your body is the portal into this reality. Without it, your awareness cannot be here. And so if you wish to be in communion and sense and feel and communicate with other aspects of self that are not existing physically in this reality, you also do that through the portal of the body. And this is why meditation is so important, because meditation is not about going out of your body, it's about going deeply into your body. And so the easiest way that we would suggest for humans is to go into your body so deeply, go through your skin, go into your organs, go into your cells, bring your awareness to the space between spaces within your cell, one cell within your body, and suddenly everything is available to you there. It's all available within the physiology of your experience. What you discover is this is the doorway. But because the focus is always outwards, it's very easy to bring your focus inwards and have an experience. Now, how that arrives for many people is usually through thoughts arising. A thought arose. When I went into the space between spaces, I went back through the portal and a thought arose. And for many, it begins as conversations that are happening within you, and you're not sure if you're speaking to yourself or speaking to someone else, but the clarity of the thought is there. And when the thought is very clear, that's most likely a thought that has arisen through the portal to your mind brain, rather than something that has developed in the mind brain, because the mind brain can only repeat thoughts and memories that it already has reference to. Do we answer your question?
Yes, yes. Well, I would like to thank you for channeling these messages for us. That was very interesting.
It is our joy to be with you in this way.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Now I'm talking to Rebecca again, yeah?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, Rebecca. All right, Rebecca. Now, If people want to find more about you, about your work, about your books, if you have something written, I know you have a couple books, would you like to share that here?
Sure. The easiest way you can discover more of our messages and explore more with us is through my website, which is just my name, RebeccaDawson.com. And in there, there's a lot of free content. We have seminars, workshops, retreats, books, a membership where you can speak with the masters every month in conversation. So lots of things happening there. We also do private sessions from time to time. So lots to explore.
Yeah, I'll include that in my description for the video. Now, a question to you. Are you afraid of death, Rebecca?
Well, no, because what I've realized over time is that we never really die, but our identities die. And we are used to having our identity die at the same time that the physical body dies. But in this current life experience, because we're having an evolution of consciousness, what many of us, including yourself, I'm sure, and many listeners are discovering is that they're having experiences where who they thought that they were is dying, but the body lives on. And this is evolution. Because my identity has actually already died. Who I thought I was has died many times. And I often go through personal experiences where I feel as if I'm going to die. And my body continues. So what I realize is that that's the death that humans are afraid of, not the physical death. Because we just continue on. We are like water. We just keep changing state. We never really die. It's just our identities. So many wise masters would say it's a good practice to die daily.
Yeah, we change. Like they say, you cannot step into the same river twice.
Right.
Now, one more question, Rebecca. What's your definition of freedom?
Freedom. Well, many people will say that freedom is time or that freedom is choice. But freedom is actually the awareness. This is my personal definition. Freedom is the awareness to know that you can experience as much as you want to experience. And for a human, it's realizing that you exist and you don't need to justify your existence. That's the ultimate freedom. I exist. And I don't need to explain why or what for or what my purpose is. I just exist. That's freedom.
Yeah. I am because I am.
No requirement. And the masters always say that peace is the state of no requirement. And that's actually the freedom I feel that many of us would wish to feel.